Hello, welcome again. Number 3, question 3 of the April 2022 past paper. And as you can see, question 3A says, discuss 5 functions of nonverbal communication. 5 functions of nonverbal communication. And on to our answer here. First, we need to understand what nonverbal communication is, and it is just the direct opposite of verbal communication. And what happens in nonverbal communication takes place even in absence of words. You can use gestures, you can use facial expressions, body language, name them, to communicate as well. So what functions do nonverbal communication cues play? Number 1, repetition. That is number 1. It repeats on what has been said verbally. Sometimes you can say yes, and at the same time you nod your head upside, up and down, to mean you are emphasizing on the verbal cue that you had already uttered. So by saying yes and at the same time nodding your head, that means you are emphasizing or you are repeating the answer non-verbally, or using the gesture of head nod, nodding the head like that. So non-verbal communication can be used to repeat what has been said verbally. That is why we've been given this example here, because in each and every answer we are given an example. For example, nodding one's head while saying yes serves to reinforce the meaning of the word yes. So that is number 1. And then it also complements the verbal message. How does it complement the verbal message? For example, like when you receive a visitor with a welcome message while having a smile on the face, that will communicate something to the visitor. At the same time, when you receive this visitor while your facial expression speaks otherwise, that will also communicate the message to the visitor. So sometimes the actions, whether the facial expressions, whether the body language, any kind of body language that we use alongside our expressions, can also say something or communicate something. So in this example that I've given, somebody comes into your house, knocks the door, you open the door, and then welcome while you're smiling. So that means this person is really welcome in this particular place. But if the facial expression will speak otherwise, you start asking yourself some questions. Am I not needed at this place? Am I really at the right place? Something like that. So sometimes the nonverbal cues also complements verbal messages. They also substitute for spoken words. Sometimes in absence of the words, but non-verbal cues to be there, communication can still be made. Somebody can talk to you, and instead of this person answering verbally, this person can also use a non-verbal cue to give the answer. So they act in places of verbal communication. That's why I said when I was defining non-verbal communication, this is communicating without words. You can use body language, you can use facial expressions, you can use gestures, signs, name it. So you substitute, you can also use non-verbal communication to substitute for verbal communication. And then next we have regulate the flow of verbal communication. How does this regulate? How does the non-verbal communication regulate verbal communication? We have been given an example here. The chairperson at a meeting, for example, uses eye contacts or gestures instead of words to indicate whose turn it is to speak. So sometimes you might be in a meeting and maybe you are the chairperson. So instead of you shouting everyone's name when it's his or her turn to speak, Sometimes you can just use gestures. You can decide to point that person either with your finger. You can decide to give him a facial expression, like an eye contact, giving him a nodding, giving him any gesture that will help him know that now indeed it's my turn. So sometimes they regulate the flow of. So instead of the chairperson in that meeting having to speak all time, to shout names, sometimes they can also use nonverbal communication to pass the communication. And then lastly, reinforces or emphasizes verbal messages. Yeah, you can also use nonverbal messages to reinforce or to emphasize. And a good example that has been given here, pounding on your table while saying, listen to me. Assuming you're in a presentation, you're presenting something, and then at that moment in time, maybe the audience, there's a lot of noise that is coming from the audience. So instead of you saying keep quiet, sometimes it might not be taken serious. But when you pound on the table loudly while you say keep quiet, then sometimes it can communicate. It can give a very serious kind of communication to the audience, and maybe they might start concentrating and giving you the attention again. So such kind of nonverbal cues can reinforce or emphasize on the verbal message. So those are the 5 functions of nonverbal communication. Question 3B is looking for benefits of conducting business through video conferencing in 21st century. So what is video conferencing? This is a kind of conference or a kind of a meeting that is held electronically or online by use of an electronic gadget with presence of internet. So previously or in the olden days, such things never used to exist, because even the emerging of smartphones, computers, PCs, it's something that happened recently. In the previous days, such gadgets were not there. So even for you to conduct a meeting, you had to travel from where you are up to where the meeting is for the meeting to take place, of which that is not the case currently or nowadays. For a meeting to take place, it's not a must for you to travel. You can just organize an online meeting so long as you have a smartphone, so long as you have a PC, so long as you have a computer with you, then and you can access internet, then such kind of meetings can be done. So what are the benefits of having that kind of meeting, or what are the benefits of having video conferencing? Cost cutting. Why? You'll save on the fare that you use to travel to where the meeting is. Now that you can do the meeting at your home, then that means the cost of traveling can be eliminated. Same time, it saves you time. Instead of you traveling from one place, wasting time, and then you go and get some traffic, you get late for the meeting, such kind of things can be eliminated completely by the use of video conferencing. So it saves time at the same time, it saves cost at the same time, also it saves cost. And then it also connects teams, people who are widely far away apart, people who maybe one person is in Canada, the other one is in UK, the other one is in US. Still those people can meet through video conferencing. So long as you have the gadgets, so long as you have internet with you, then you are good to go. So it connects teams. It's not a must for people to be in the same region. It's not a must for people to be in the same geographical place in order for them to do meetings. They can do meetings while across the globe. So that is another benefit. And then also digital workforce here. Through video conferencing, we've enabled digital workforce in most organizations, because these things never existed before, but now that they do exist, you get to see that we are converting our workforce to become digital and more up to date. So that is also a benefit. And lastly, it improves attendance, because you do it at your own convenience. It's not a must for you to be at a certain place. You can do it even from your home, from your hotel room, wherever you are. When the time for meeting is here, wherever you are, you can be able to attend that. And like the issue of physical meeting, assume you are traveling and then you get a traffic jam somewhere, you stay there for 3 hours, the meeting already started, or even sometimes the quorum fails to reach, and such kind of challenges. With video conferencing, you can eliminate such small challenges when it comes to the meeting. So those are the benefits of conducting video conferencing in businesses in the 21st century. And then we have 3B here. 3B, 5 types of unethical behavior in an organization. 5 types of unethical behavior in an organization. When you talk of unethical behavior, what comes into your mind? Something that goes against the rules or the policies of the organization as far as communication is concerned. So what are these unethical behaviors when it comes to communication? As you can see, they are very on point, direct and straightforward. Being dishonest. Communication must be factual, accurate, and deceptive. So you should not lie, you should not deceive others. You should give something that is just the true and accurate information. And then also inaccurate and incomplete information, that can also be unethical. Giving inaccurate information, deep down your heart, you know, I'm saying this, but it's not correct, it's not accurate, and go ahead and relay it, becomes also unethical. And then withholding crucial information, and knowing that when you hold this crucial information, it may result to huge losses in the company. But to still go ahead and withhold that crucial information, that can also be termed as unethical behavior. And then the most common, plagiarism. This is what is happening in today's market or in today's business organizations. People go on stealing other people's work and they own it. That is very bad. It's very unethical when it comes to communication. So things need to be taken serious in order for the issue of plagiarism to be eliminated or reduced. At least when it reaches at a point where you feel you need some information for the organization, then do whatever it takes to own your own information rather than using somebody else's information, even without his own consent. So plagiarism is also unethical. And then offensive, meaning use of offensive words, use of offensive languages, use of offensive signs, gestures, name them. All those can also be unethical behaviors in communication. So that is our question 3. See you in our next question, which will be number 4. Thank you.